Okay, everybody, I am about to say something incredibly controversial. This is probably going to be the most controversial thing you ever hear on the internet. I have a different opinion.
I knew it. It doesn't matter how minute the opinion is, whether it's about movies, food, or what kind of socks you like to wear. If you have a different opinion on the internet, somebody or multiple people are going to get upset by it. Well, I might as well talk about some trash, since I'm in the trash.
Kill everyone now. Condone first-degree murder. Advocate cannibalism. Eat shit.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Trash Reviews, where I take a look at the trashier side of cinema. Today we're looking at a movie that is a perfect example of what filmmakers can do with little to no money when there is so much effort put behind the filmmaking. And that movie is Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Astron 6 is a group of friends who were brought together by a love of filmmaking. They've made many short films together, but their first feature film attempt was a movie called Manborg, which had an incredibly small budget. But the movie we're looking at today is their second feature film, which is a tribute to old Grindhouse movies and exploitation films. And this movie had a whopping budget of $10,000.
Hail the Manicus! Hail the Manicus! Hail the Manicus! Hail the Manicus!
What we have here is a spoof of old Grindhouse movies. And what's interesting and kinda terrifying about this movie is that it's actually a perfect mix of funny imagery and disturbing moments. I've never really seen a movie before that, for me at least, is a perfect balance of disturbing and funny. Trigger warning for people because this movie does deal with sensitive subject matter, so brace yourself. Okay, let's get into the rough stuff in 3, 2, 1. What this movie is about is we have this man named Ahab who wears an eye patch. He's clearly meant to be a tribute to Frigga from Thriller: A Cruel Picture. Anyway, this man is hunting down a serial killer who goes around raping and murdering fathers. I'm not going to deny that Father's Day and many of the movies, in fact all of the movies I talk about in this series, are in bad taste. But there is a difference between good bad taste and bad taste. I think that Father's Day is a good example of good bad taste. There are movies that try to shock you and movies that try to make you laugh. Father's Day does a good job at both shocking you and making you laugh. It's easy to shock people, it's harder to make them laugh. And it's very hard to make people laugh while at the same time shocking them.
My sister, what did you do with her?
Kiss me, and I'll tell you what happened to her.
No, gross. Why?
One of the earliest films I talked about in this series was Blood-Sucking Freaks, and while I do like that movie, I don't think it had a good balance of funny and disturbing. For me, the movie didn't know what it wanted to be. The tone seemed a bit off balance. But Father's Day lets you know what it is right at the beginning. And for me, it does a better job at balancing disturbing and funny, which is no easy task. The disturbing scenes are always disturbing. It never makes light of those moments that are meant to be disturbing. And the funny scenes are always funny. They do a good job at not commingling the disturbing and the humor, making it so one doesn't overtake the other.
There he is!
Oh, what do we do?
He shot me in the fucking head!
Now, looking past all that, because I understand this movie is not going to be for everybody given its subject matter, but Father's Day is to be admired because of what these filmmakers did with literally no money. This movie had a budget of $10,000. It's a true testament to how innovation can overcome any budget. Because when you hear $10,000 and then you look at this movie, it does not look like it was made for $10,000. The gore effects are fantastic. They may be slightly rough around the edges, but they're nowhere near as rough around the edges as other micro-budget horror movies, and you know how much I love a good micro-budget movie. And there's also some very impressive stunt work done in this film. The main thing we're talking about here is innovation. What I love the most about Father's Day is how crazy the story gets and how wild it goes with sleazy creativity. What starts out as a simple, over-the-top crime, horror, revenge flick goes into demonic, hellish territory. Literally. So, the movie starts out as this man Ahab trying to get revenge on this serial killer named Fuckman, just roll with it, but then as the movie goes on and gets into the third act, it turns out that the Fuckman is a demon from hell. Now, this twist does not come out of nowhere. There are things hinted at throughout the film in the first two acts. And of course, since this movie is involving a demon from hell, it eventually reveals a prophecy that is fulfilled with bloodshed, violence, and a little incest.
So,
God,
No.
dude, your sister.
I didn't want to or anything. I was friggin' blackout drunk, man. I don't remember a GD thing.
Jesus, Ahab, you didn't.
Fuck you guys if you say you wouldn't do the same.
All this builds up to our main characters having to go to hell. Now, you would imagine that going to hell with a $10,000 budget is not easy, but Astron 6 managed to pull it off in this movie through very creative means. Through a combination of stop-motion animation and green screens, this film managed to make their own version of hell. That's very impressive. Yes, it is rough around the edges given the fact that this movie only had a $10,000 budget, but still, with a $10,000 budget, this movie made their own version of hell. That's what I mean when I talk about innovation. Astron 6 was so innovative with this movie with such a small budget. It's inspiring in many ways. If these people can do this kind of work with $10,000, imagine what so many other amateur filmmakers could do.
So this is hell, huh? It's not so bad.
What is taking Padre?
Astron 6 went on to make The Editor, which was a tribute to Italian giallo flicks. This movie had a much bigger budget and is also very entertaining. Sadly, nothing has been made under the production company Astron 6 for a while, but the people have gone on to make some damn good movies. The co-director Stephen Kostansky went on to direct The Void, Leprechaun Returns, and Psycho Goreman. And members of Astron 6 have been involved in those films. But for me, Father's Day is their best film. It's a huge inspiration to anybody wanting to make movies despite the fact that they have no budget. This is a perfect example of what you can do despite having a small budget. If I were ever able to make my own movie, I only hope it could be half as good as Father's Day. Thank you all once again for joining me in another episode of Trash Reviews. I'm glad that people seem to be enjoying this very odd series, And if you would like to support me being a weirdo, or you would like to see me make videos that are not as weird as this, or maybe weirder than this, it depends, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing to this channel. I hope you're all having a good day, or at the very least, a better day than I'm having right now. And if you're all curious as to what the very controversial opinion was that I had, that opinion is that pineapple on pizza is fine. It's just fine. Yep, that's the opinion that resulted in me ending up in this trash can. Anyway, have a lovely day.